Welcome to Daily Dose. My name is Robert. I'm here with my pal Matthew Moore. How are you today, Matthew?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good.
So here on the Dose, we just let it rip. We talk about whatever need to be talking about, and you've got something going on right now that may be interesting to our folks. Why don't you lead us in right now? What are you doing?
Well, I'm part of I'm writing a stand-up comedy routine about
Mhm.
Parkinson's. Part of it's telling stories from my experience with Parkinson's, and I've got a doozy of a story about a neuropsychological exam that I took. If you don't know much about neuropsych exams, they're exhaustive and exhausting. They last 3 hours long. They test every part of your mental ability. It's nuts. But part of the exam is naming as many words as you can that start with the same letter. And so,
Fair
for
enough. Sounds like fun.
yeah, uh, it's harder than you think it is, believe it or not. But the person administering the exam said to me, "Let's use the letter F." I'm like, "Well, I can think of one. let's move on from that." And then I remembered that when I was in college, I had spent several weeks memorizing this story called "The Parable in F," which tells the story of the prodigal son using almost entirely words that start with F, about 200 of them. None of the bad ones, just the good ones. So, yeah, good Matthew's thinking, yeah, like I should probably tell her, that I know this story. And if I tell it one word at a time, I could have all the F words. But bad Matthew's like, come on, dude, you have a disability. Use it. And so that's what I did. I launched into the story and one F word at a time. She's frantically writing them all down. And we got to the end. She said, "You know a lot of words that start with F." And I said, "Fortunately, yeah." And so I tell this story every once in a while just to let people have a laugh and help my memory, remind myself of the words in the story. But I'll give it a quick go if you don't care.
I would love to hear it. Please, F away.
Here we, I'm going to F away. Here we go. The parable in F. Feeling footloose and frisky, a feather-brained fella forced his fond father to fork over his farthings. He flew far to foreign fields and frittered his fortune, feasting fabulously with faithless friends. But facing famine and fleeced by his fellows in folly, he found himself a feed flinger in a filthy farmyard. He feigned he would have filled his frame with foraged food from the fodder fragments. Philly, my father's flunkies, fair far fancier, the frazzled fugitive fumed fervently, facing facts. Fully famished and filled with foreboding, he fled forthwith to his father. He fell at his father's feet and cried, "Father, I have flunked and fruitlessly forfeited family favor." The faithful father figure, forestalling further flinching, frantically flagged the flunkies to fetch forth the finest fatlings and fix a feast. The fault-finding frater frowned on the fickle forgiveness of the faithful father, and his fury flashed, but fuming was futile. For the faithful father figure said forcefully, "What forbids fern festivities? The fugitive is found. Unfurl the flags with flair, let fun and frolic freely flow. Former failures are forgotten, and forgiveness forms the foundation for future fortune." I'm finally finished. So there.
Former failures are forgotten. So
So
this is fantastic. And you mentioned her sweating as she's writing down all these F words, and you have your fun button. You've done this on stage as well. Is that right? As part of the stand-up act?
yep.
Is it a close for you, or where do you place it?
Say again. Is it?
Is it a closing bit? Because often that's where comics put things they know are like home runs. So
It actually starts my bit because it's
it's
this.
okay, an opener.
It's the
That
start of my story, and that's a pretty good opener. Um,
yeah.
yeah, so it's in a good spot, I think.
Yeah, I like it because it has the lead into Parkinson's, of course, which is, that's a mainstay part of your act, having gone through and offered notes throughout it. And this offers people a different look at Parkinson's. Would you say that's part of the goal of why you're doing stand up? Because people might go, why, Matthew, why stand up with Parkinson's?
Yeah, great question. I believe in this. We're back to aesthetic distance, Robert. I believe in this possibility that I can pull back from my Parkinson's and look at it from a distance and observe it and find the peculiarities and absurdities about it. And if we don't have the capacity to pull back and look at it and laugh at it, we might not be in the best place. We might be too closely wed to it. And so for me, it's helpful to just pull back and see it for what it is. It's absurd that she would say F, and I know a story that's all F words. That kind of thing it's absurd and it's funny. And it's
Yeah.
part of having the adventure of day-to-day Parkinson.
Well, and I love that you yes-anded it. This is the whole idea of yes and, right? Is taking the things that we already know or things that are in our wheelhouse and applying them differently. It's that is yes, I do have this, and as you put it, the little devil shoulder perhaps was cueing you in, and rather than go, no, that's not okay, I shouldn't. It was like, I can and I get to. It's okay, and I'm so glad you did, and I'm glad you shared it here. I want to come back and I want to talk more about aesthetic distance because we've talked about it before. However, as you've seen, it's developed pretty big inside of the program, and a lot of people I think have got a lot of mileage. So let's come back and talk about that. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
All right. See you in a minute.